Hey, Johnny here, and today we'll be counting down 103 Persona 3 facts in anticipation for P3 Reload. By no means the oldest Persona game, P3 still has a ton of accessory media, and I combed every single bit of it to find the weirdest and craziest trivia I bet you've never heard of. Like honestly, if you leave this video learning nothing, I don't believe you. I'd consider myself like a pretty big fan of Persona 3, but no, I genuinely learned so much trivia while researching this video, and I think it's well worth your time. Also, there will be some slight spoilers for this video, but nothing that you wouldn't see just from, a normal trailer. So don't worry, I won't be going over the main story of the game. And with all that said, let's start this thing because there is a lot to get to. So let's begin with Persona 3 Portable, where two characters from P4 make an appearance during trips the protagonists take. In the male hero's journey, he crosses paths with Noriko Kashiwagi at the beach in Nakushima. And in the female hero route, if you join the tennis club, you will meet a young Yukiko Amagi. In Persona 3 FES, the hero can use every weapon type excluding guns and knives, and has unique animations for each weapon. During the Priestess Full Moon Shadow fight, you can see a repurposed concept art for P3 in the train cabin disguised as an ad. In the fight against Elizabeth, her tarot cards contain the texture of the persona Ananta, with one shrunken head. Speaking of shrunken heads, in Portable, when entering the Velvet Room as the male hero with the persona Mara equipped, Elizabeth will comment on how manly it is. Whilst playing as the female hero, Theodore will comment that the persona doesn't suit you. If you take Elizabeth's request number 79, you can visit the faculty office for an academic boost for a week that doesn't eat up time. Extremely helpful since academics is the stat that takes the most points to max out. In the Japanese version of P3 FES, the campaigns are titled Episode Yourself and Episode Aegis, whilst abroad they're referred to as The Journey and The Answer. Makoto Yuki's weapon of choice in the Persona 3 movie, Excalibur, is extremely rare, only appearing in golden chests in 2 specific floors of Monad. In addition, it shares its loot table with other items, further increasing its scarcity, making it one of the rarest items in the franchise. Introduced in P3P are new ending lines for players who complete the game on New Game Plus, featuring characters you form an intimate bond with. Junpei was also considered to appear here, but ended up being scrapped due to Junpei already having a similar relationship with someone other than the protagonist, and the devs probably didn't want to make him look like a cheater. Akihiko and Igor are the only legacy characters to appear in P3's offshoot anime, Trinity Soul. If you use a cheating device to add the persona The Universe to your repertoire, the navigators will scold you.
Cheating, huh? I'm disappointed in you.
You're cheating. I'll have to punish you.
Japan has an exclusive version of FES, P3 Append Edition, allowing those who purchase vanilla P3 to receive the new FES editions at a discounted cost. The Japanese history teacher Mr. Ono is the sibling to the world history teacher Miss Sofu, who teaches you in Persona 4. The setting of P3's Tatsumi Port Island is based on Japan's real-world Kobe Island. Both even feature an artificial island that houses some of the district schools. The reason fusion spells changed in Portable was due to the fact that the spell Armageddon ruined the game balance. To restore this balance, fusion spells were reworked into an item form in Portable, limiting the frequency that Armageddon could be used. That's right, Armageddon was so strong that every fusion spell had to suffer too. Both of Mitsuru's personas have an absent breastplate on their design, in reference to the theory that Amazons sever their own breasts to become better archers. The TV show quiz that airs in the dorm lobby, Who's Who, references past Persona 1 and Persona 2 characters on their canon birthdays. Persona 2 is referenced again in the Hermit Social Link, the game Innocent Sin Online being a clear callback to the first half of the P2 duology. And the screen names used by the hero and the hermit are also Tatsuya and Maya, paying homage to past characters. This, however, is a localization change. In the Japanese version, the game they play is Devil Busters, a reference to a game inside of a game from Megami Tensei 2, and the characters are named after Nakajima and Yumiko from the Digital Devil story novels. In The Answer, Igor makes a comment referencing his origins when conversing with Aegis, saying they may share a similar destiny, possibly hinting on Igor's origins as a doll. The unnamed antique store woman has cut lines in the Japanese vanilla version, indicating she was intended to be a social link at one point. but was eventually scrapped. We also learn in old document number 8, the antique woman worked for the Korijo Group before opening up her store. Mr. Itogawa, the school nurse and integrated learning teacher, is based on an Atlus staff member, Shogo Isogai, who has written for and helped direct many other games at Atlus, including Persona 3. Thanks to being infused with the items Plumes of Dusk, Evokers, Aigis, and Mitsuru's motorcycle can operate normally during the dark hour, while other technology cannot. Plumes of Dusk also are what gives anti-shadow weapons their personas. Aigis has 2 of these Plumes of Dusk inside of her, in the shape of a butterfly, which is why she has what is called a Palpian heart. Akihiko appears in more Persona media than any other character due to spin-offs and being the sole character to return in Trinity Soul. Mitsuru's sword from the Persona 3 movie isn't actually a weapon from the games, which is totally understandable because some of the P3 swords look kind of silly. In Aigis' first mission for mobile devices, we learn Aigis' ribbon was a gift from Yu Kimijima. In an odd coincidence, the original voice actor for the English P3 hero, Yuri Lowenthal, is married to the English voice actress for Elizabeth, Tara Platt. And the FEMC's English voice actor, Laurie Bailey, is married to Theodore's original voice actor, Travis Willingham. The Plumes of Dusk are called Nyx's Wings in P4's Arena Code, hinting toward their place of origin. It was revealed in an episode of Persona Stalker Club that Mitsuru's father, Takahiro Korijo, lost his eye when he was attacked by a shadow during a Tartarus investigation. Thanks to an oversight, you can skip the game's final boss if you initiate the Devil Social Link on the night of January 31st. The development staff of the original P3 believed it was impossible to max every social link in a single playthrough, only later to be proven wrong once fans got their hands on the game and optimized a route. Mitsuru uses occasional English words in her speech in the Japanese version, opposed to French. Did you know the little guy inside Akihiko's persona, Caesar, is me, telling you to subscribe? I make amazing Persona content, and I have some killer videos for 2024 that I know you don't want to miss. So just do yourself a favor and, subscribe. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. Come on. And no, this does not count towards the 103 facts. But I am canonically inside of Caesar. That is me. I just want you to know that. The FEMC's hair clip has a double reference attached to it. It was purposely crafted to resemble the Roman numeral 22, because she was the 22nd arcana to be added to the game. And in tarot decks, the Fool can also be at the end of the deck, being the 22nd card. Also, the FEMC loves bananas, and has many dialogue options in-game involving them. This is canon. You cannot debate it. Aigis' headphones are based on the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek analog computer that was used to predict solar eclipses. The intro movie of FES has a mistake. In the Attract mode video, in it you can see that Junpei is fighting against the full moon shadow of the Hermit, but in-game, this just isn't possible. Speaking of Junpei, his victory pose shares a striking resemblance to John Travolta's from the American musical Saturday Night Fever. Early concept art shows Ken's weapon of choice were darts and throwing weapons, before deciding to give him a spear, as illustrated by the lowest quality JPEG. I swear to God I couldn't find a better one. In the Dorm's vending machine, the item Cielo Mist can be purchased, a parody of Sierra Mist, featuring Cielo from Atlus's Digital Devil Saga games. In Portable, Social Link characters may wander into Tartarus. If not saved, they die, ending the Social Link prematurely. These include Bunkichi Kitamura and Maiko Ohashi. Junpei's second awakening, Trismegistus, is holding a Philosopher's Stone in its mouth, to reference Hermes Trismegistus being the pioneer of alchemy. Akihiko's second awakening, Caesar, wields a giant sword, yet he cannot learn any slash moves. Is he stupid? Does he know how a sword works? In the Persona 3 manga, the hero only uses 3 personas, Orpheus, Thanatos, and Messiah. The Gekkoukan High school emblem shares many similarities with the BMW automobile logo. After the game's opening days, if you refuse to go Tartarus for 10 entire days, Mitsuru will reprimand you for being so careless and force you to enter Tartarus and prevent you from leaving until sufficient progress has been made. Did you know Messiah has an exclusive skill? The ever so gracefully named Magic Skill Up is learned at level 98 in Portable. But actually, this skill exists in all other versions of P3, but was just dummied out for reasons unknown. Depending on which weapon Aigis has equipped, her battle lines change. In the side quest, I Want to Play 2 in PQ, the game pokes fun at the fact that Theodore and Kanji look quite similar, even comparing them to long-lost brothers. PQ also has an unused animation of Aigis dancing like Cielo from Digital Devil Saga, likely used to test the game's animations. P3 dancing tells us that the hero doesn't physically enter the Velvet Room, as his friends mention from their perspective that he's just staring off into space. P3 FES added a whopping 22 new personas to the game. These include Huapo, Hypixie, Yaxini, Shisa, Thoth, Alp, Kumbhanda, Mothman, Impusa, Rakshasa, Hecaton Kairos, Hellbiker, Ghoul, Yulungar, Pazuzu, Mara, Kardakia, Balzibul, Suparna, Hellel, Nidhogg, and Adavaka, while Persona 3 Portable added only 4, Tomlin, Neko Shogun, Mokoi, and Satanta. Speaking of 4s, the Reaper's total HP being 4,444 is a reference to the Japanese word for 4, shi, sounding similar to the word for death, shine, and is generally considered an unlucky number in Japan. Gekkoukan High features Greek architecture, like large pillars and stone gazebos to reference the game's Greek mythological origins. The Aeon Arcana is special in the sense that instead of originating from the Rider-Waite tarot, like the other cards in the game, the Aeon suit is from the Thoth deck, created by Aleister Crowley, British occultist and self-proclaimed the Beast 666. Sounds like a gamer tag, but I don't think they had those back then. Elizabeth's character design was based to resemble a 70s-style elevator attendant, whilst her brother is intended to reflect the image of a hotel bellboy. Koromaru is based off Hachiko, a real-life dog with a similar story. Confusing enough, the real-life Hachiko is referenced in Persona 5, so there's a lot of loyal dogs out there. Before settling for Theodore, the male Velvet attendant, name candidates were Elio or Elliot. The blocks of P3's dungeon, Tartarus, are named after the 7 heavens in Judaism, whilst the levels in the Answer are named after the circles of hell in Dante's Divine Comedy. Despite what you might think, Aigis is considered to be the official mascot of Persona 3, and not Koromaru. In an episode of Persona Stalkers Club, it said Shinjiro wears a coat even during the summertime, due to the pills he takes preventing his body from regulating temperature properly. The spin-off novel, Shadow Cry, is written from the perspective of Strega's Jin, and features events prior and during the game's story. Kei Najo's family business from the first Persona has canonically merged with the Korijo group, as indicated by the game's glossary. Revealed by Aigis in Persona Q, one of Yukari's hobbies is apparently enjoying fan fiction. And when she's not doing that, when performing as the Pink Phoenix Ranger, Yukari Takaba apparently does her own stunts, as we see in Persona 4 Ultimax. In the same game, we learn from the pre-battle quote that Junpei is apparently a Rosette fan.
I can fight now. I'll show you.
Rosette? For real? No way!
The P3 Club Book tells us that Ken Hamada frequently browses the website run by Persona 2's Balfu. The Shirt of Chivalry costume has a single kanji character on the back, which when translated reflects the character who's wearing it. The MC's translates to Honorable Man, Junpei's translates to Tint of Color or Lust, which seems more appropriate. Akihiko's translates to Hit, Ken's is Grudge, and Shinjiro says Life. Aigis cannot be poisoned by shadows in the journey, but she can be in the Answer. Philemon is the blue butterfly seen in the game's cinematics and cutscenes. Social links in P3 can become reversed or even broken. To reverse a social link, there's a few ways to go about it. One option is to ignore them for many days. Another is to pick a rude option during a social link. That can upset them too and reverse the link. Or you can double book on a day you plan to spend time with someone. That will also upset them. But to break a social link, you must be intimate with a character, but spend time with another boy or girl before finishing the link. The character will notice this behavior and confront you about it, and if you admit that things are over between you, the social link will break forever and can no longer be continued. If you fight the secret boss before Fuka joins, she'll show up as the navigator.
Who is that?
I don't know, who are you? To help advertise the release of the Persona 3 movie at Sega's Joypolis amusement park, the Persona 3 Escape Room, Escape from the Dark Hour, was held. In collaboration with Rikyo Ski Park, the Persona 3 skis featuring Thanatos were sold for roughly $400, which to this day remains the most expensive Persona 3 merchandise. In addition to understanding dogs like Koromaru, Aigis can also understand the speech of monkeys, such as Ryuji. In PQ2, there is dummied out text that references the fan canon name for Femsi being Hamiko. The initial release of the North American version of P3P had untranslated text for Yuko's 10th social link. In the comic anthology Tartarus Theater, Aigis makes a disturbing face, mocking an unfortunate-looking Cosmos figure from Xenosaga 2. In the same comic, it's revealed that Fuka's favorite luxury brand is Old Navy. P3's cutscenes were animated by Point Pictures, who also work on the opening sequences for Steins Gate. Akihiko's Japanese voice actor, Hikaru Midorikawa, was reportedly terrified of Polydeuces' appearance upon first seeing it. Persona 3 has a ton of mobile games, from Persona 3 EM, Broken Shadow, Aigis First Mission, and Persona 3 Escape. The male hero has amazing rapping skills. Sadly, the viewer can never hear them, as the medium where this is shown is the Persona 3 manga. Personas Io and Penthesilea have unused physical attack animations, which normally cannot be seen as they learn no physical attacks. In the anime Hayate no Gotoku, a visual is found in the background for a department store featuring the clothing of Persona 3's party members. In Portable, Jin and Takaya receives buffs to their magic stat and damage output. Despite this, they still completely suck eggs. In the arena games, when Elizabeth and her sister are shocked, they do not appear to have skeletons like other characters in the roster, indicating they may be boneless. One of Messiah's hard items can be the Omnipotent Orb, an accessory that blocks all sources of damage except Almighty. However, the chances of this are very, very low. Messiah learning the skill Absorb Pierce can be a reference to Jesus Christ being pierced by an unnamed Roman soldier, who stabbed him with a lance at his crucifixion. In the Magician boss cutscene, an animation error exists, where the hero has a cease armband despite not yet joining. The Femsi was given Naginatas as her signature weapon, because the staff members found the idea of a girl wielding an oversized weapon to be cute. Also, according to series illustrator Shigenori Soejima, Orpheus F is still male, but just has long feminine hair. All the street names on the world map are written in French, for some reason. Shout out to Claire de Lune Road. Despite claiming to do her best, Aigis' grades are below average, as seen at school on October 19th. That was out of pocket, I'm sorry. I got a D2, I'm just projecting. When picking a dog breed to make Koromaru, the staff at one point considered a Dalmatian. Jin's persona Hypnos wears a sleeping mask, a reference to him being the personification of sleep. In FES, Jin's arcana is inaccurately labeled as Fortune, when it should be the Hermit during the Moonlight Bridge boss fight. And this last one could technically be a spoiler, so click off now if you don't want to hear it. But in the Persona 3 club book, it's revealed that the moon in the Persona universe is actually the remnants of an outer space object known as a Star Eater colliding with a newly formed Earth. That's right, the moon is an alien. Yeah. And there you have it, 103 Persona facts. You learn anything new? If you did, let me know. And before we go, shout out to my patrons. A perk of my Patreon is you get to appear at the end of my scripted videos. And by golly, look at them go. Look at all these supporters. Thank you ever so much for helping me escape poverty. And an ever so special thanks to my world tier supporters. Can't do it without you. 123 Garfield, Karkwad, Shadow Roamers, Hawks, Jeremy A, and Shay Birch. If you want to see what I'm working on next or interact with me directly, check out my Patreon and you can help support the channel directly. And yeah, that'll pretty much do it. Looking forward to covering P3 Reload for all of y'all, and see you next time. Bye.